Hey everybody, and welcome to Storytime with Nick. One thing that as I've said in my other series, the When Nick Gets Bored, is people like my voice, and and some of them don't even watch because of me, they just watch because of my voice. So I thought, hey, one thing that I can do with my voice is read books. So I thought, what the hey, I'll read you guys some books. So yeah, it took me a little while. I needed to figure out which one I'm going to do first, and I chose one that was an instant classic. It's one of my favorite things, and it stuck with me forever, and it is the Complete Tales of Winnie-the-Pooh by A.A. Milne. Childhood hero and all that to me right here. I'm going to kind of there are pictures, of course, it's a children's book, but I mean, it's Winnie-the-Pooh. Come on. It can't get any better than this. And I'm sorry if I kind of seem a little raspy. I don't know what's going on, so, bear with me. I would, if you just want to listen to this, like if you're going to bed or something like that, you just go ahead. It wouldn't matter. Most of these pictures, not really well drawn, but still cute in some ways. What you can do is kind of just sit along and listen. I won't make faces at you often. So yeah. All right. So got myself some water. All right. So yeah, and we are going to start this. Let's do the introduction as well. All right. If you happen to read another book about Christopher Robin, you may remember that he once had a swan, or the swan had Christopher Robin. I don't know which, and that he used to call the swan Pooh. That was a long time ago, and when we said goodbye, we took the name with us, as we didn't think of the swan would want it anymore. Well, then Edward Bear said that he would like an exciting name all to himself. Christopher Robin said at once, without stopping to think, that he was Winnie-the-Pooh. And he was so, as I have explained, the Pooh part. Whoops. Lost my place. Explain the Pooh part. I will now explain the rest of it. You can't be in London for long without going to the zoo. There are some people who begin the zoo at the beginning, called weigh-in, and walk as quickly as they can past every cage until they get to the one called way out. But the nicest of people go straight to the animal they love the most and stay there. So when Christopher Robin goes to the zoo, he goes to where the polar bears are, and he whispers something to the third keeper from the left, and the doors are unlocked, and we wander through the dark passages and up steep stairs until at last we come to the special cage, and the cage is opened, and out trots something brown and furry, and with a happy cry of "Oh bear," Christopher Robin rushes into its arms. Now this bear's name is Winnie-the-Pooh. Is Winnie, which shows what a good name for bears it is. But the funny thing is that we can't remember whether Winnie is called after Pooh or Pooh after Winnie. We did not know once, but we have forgotten. I had written as far as this when Piglet looked up and said in his squeaky voice, "What about me, my dear Piglet?" I said the whole book is about you, so it is about Pooh. He squeaked. You see what it is. He is jealous, because he thinks Pooh is having a grand introduction all to himself. Pooh is the favorite, of course. There is no denying it. But Piglet comes in for a good many things which Pooh misses, because you can't take Pooh to school without everyone knowing. But Piglet is so small that he slips into a pocket, where it is very comfortable to feel him when you are not quite sure whether twice 7 is 11 or 22. Sometimes he slips out and has a good look in the ink pot, and in this way he has got more education than Pooh. But Pooh doesn't mind. Some have brains, some haven't, he says. And it is, and there it is. Now all the others are saying, "What about us?" So perhaps the best thing to do is stop writing introductions and get on with the book. That's pretty good, by the author himself, so it's really good. Alright, well, I'm not going to get through the entire chapter 1 today. Throat's kind of hurting, so I'm going to see what I can do. Okay. Alright, chapter 1. We are introduced to Winnie-the-Pooh and some bees, and the story begins. Here is Edward Bear, coming downstairs now, bump, 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 on the back of his head, behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs, but sometimes he feels that there really is another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is, at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you. Winnie-the-Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said just as you're going to say, but I thought he was a boy. So did I, said Christopher Robin. Then you can't call him Winnie? I don't. But you said, he's Winnie-the-Pooh. Don't you know what there means? Sorry. Ah, yes, now I do, I said quickly, and I hope you do too, because it is all the explanation you are going to get. Sometimes Winnie-the-Pooh is like a game of some sorts. When he comes downstairs after something, he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, what about a story? Said Christopher Robin. What about a story? I said. Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh one? I suppose I could, I said. What sort of story does he like? About himself, because he's that sort of bear. Oh, I see. So could you very sweetly? I'll try. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie-the-Pooh lived in a forest all by himself, under the name of Sanders. What does under the name mean? Asked Christopher Robin. It means he had the name over the door in gold letters, and lived under it. Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure, said Christopher Robin. Now I am, said a growly voice. Then I will go on, said I. One day, when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest. And in the middle of this place there was a large oak tree, and from the top of the tree there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing noise means something. You don't get buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing, without its meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise is that I know of is because you're a bee. And he thought another long time, and said, and the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And then he got up and said, and the only reason for making honey is so I can eat it. So he began to climb the tree. He climbed, and he climbed, and he climbed, and he climbed. And as he climbed, he sang a little song to himself, and it went like this. Let me show you the picture first. Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does. Then he climbed a little further, and a little further, and then just a little further. By that time, he had thought of another song. It's a very funny thought that, if bears were bees, they'd build their nest at the bottom of trees, and that being so, if bees were bears, we shouldn't have climbed up all these stairs. He was getting rather tired by this time, so that is why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there, and if he stood on a branch, crack. Oh, help, said Pooh, as he dropped 10 feet on the branch below him. If only I hadn't, he said as he bounced 20 feet to the next branch. You see what I meant to do? He explained as he turned head over heels and crashed onto another branch 30 feet below. What I meant to do, of course, it was rather, he admitted, as he slithered very quickly through to the next 6 branches. It all comes, I suppose, he decided as he said goodbye to the last branch, spun around 3 times, and flew gracefully into a gorse bush. It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help. He crawled out of the gorse bush, brushed his prickles from his nose, and began to think again. And the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin. Was that me? Said Christopher Robin, in an odd voice, hardly daring to believe it. That was you. Christopher Robin said nothing, but his eyes got larger and larger, and his face got pinker and pinker. So Winnie the Pooh went to his friend, Christopher Robin, who lived behind a green door in another part of the forest. Good morning, Christopher Robin, he said. Good morning, Winnie the Pooh, said you. I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you. A balloon? A balloon? Yes. I just said to myself coming along, I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him. I just said it to myself, thinking of balloons and wondering. What do you want the balloon for? You said. Winnie the Pooh looked around to see that nobody was listening. He put a paw to his mouth, and then in a deep whisper, Honey, But you don't get honey with balloons. I do, said Pooh. Well, it just happened that you had been to a party the day before, and the house of your friend Piglet and you had balloons at the party. You had a big green balloon, and one of Rabbit's retaliations had a big blue one, and had left it behind, being really too young to go to a party at all. And so you had brought the green one and the blue one home with you. Which one would you like? You asked Pooh. He put his head between his paws and thought very carefully. It's like this, he said. When you go after honey with a balloon, the great thing is not to let the bees know you're coming. Now, if you have a green balloon, they might think you were only part of the tree and not noticed. And if you had the blue balloon, they might think you were only part of the sky and not noticed you. And the question is, which is more likely? Wouldn't they notice you underneath the balloon, you asked? They might or they might not, said Winnie-the-Pooh. You never can tell with bees. He thought for a moment and said, I shall try to look like a small black cloud. That will deceive them. Then you had better have a blue balloon, you said. And so it was decided. I believe I'm going to stop there for now. My voice is being a pain right now, so yeah. If you like this, please tell me. I would very much like feedback on these ones. So yeah. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to like a nighttime, bedtime story sort of thing, good night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the morning. I think that's a good one. I think that's a good ending for all this. Alright, we'll do that one more time. Good night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the morning.